What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV Daily, your source for daily tech news. Make sure you subscribe so you know what's going on in the world of tech. How is everyone doing? Hope you're having a fantastic day. We got a couple of news stories for you, a couple of questions, so let's go. Our first story of the day has to do with the performance of the Exynos 2400 versus the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. Now, the Exynos 2400, the rumors so far are it's going to be coming back to the Galaxy S24 line of phones for some folks throughout the world. So like, if you used to get the Exynos version and now you get the Snapdragon, you're gonna go back to most likely getting the Exynos version. If you're in America, you've been getting the Snapdragon for basically ever, that's going to continue, so you will get the 8 Gen 3. But how do these two processors compare in a Geekbench test against each other? Well, the preliminary numbers that are coming out thus far are the following. So with an 8 Gen 2, just to show you some differences, 8 Gen 2, which is the current processor that we have, you'd get averages of 1485 to 1495 on a single core, and then on a multi-core you get anywhere from about 5050 all the way up to 5200. But now the Exynos, the highest score they got on that was 1711 on the single core, and then on the multi-core it was 6967. Crazies. Now, and again, that was the Exynos 2400. The average though for the 2400 was single core 1530 and a multi-score of 6210, which both of those numbers are better than what you would get with the just general score of one of the other the last generation. And then the 8 Gen 3, preliminary numbers expected are 1750 to 1800 single core and 6450 to 6500 on multi-core. So definitely a better performer than the Exynos. Not a huge change, but there's definitely a difference in there, maybe big enough to see different things on there. I mean, it's not a whole loss on there, so I don't think that just because you're getting the Exynos, it's going to be a complete dud. It's not. That's still really good scores, especially versus last year's processors. Those are pretty big jumps in general, so I don't think you should be too tore up about it. But versus the 8 Gen 3, it looks like the 8 Gen 3 will still be the king, and the Exynos is just going to kind of be a little bit behind that. Next up, as you can see from the headline, one of the early rumors about the S24 series is that it's going to have advanced materials to reduce weight slightly. And it seems like that's some of the, the arenas that Samsung is pushing to, is lighter phones and better battery life. And I have to admit, I don't find any hate on that at all. And, they might not be pushing this or that, but you have to credit them, because we're getting to a point where the performance is amazing on devices, and how much further do we need to go with mobile apps so that they run a little bit better and they maybe open up a millisecond of a bit faster? It doesn't really matter. Everything's really fast and fluid usually on these systems. So, getting software to be better with just running faster in itself, because again, the processing speed's already there. And then battery life, that's a huge thing. We want to get to battery life where we get all day, and then maybe we get multi-day and a week worth of battery life. We'll eventually get to those points, and hopefully Samsung's pushing it in that direction. It seems like they are, and people want lighter devices at the same time without having to give up battery life. And again, it looks like Samsung's doing that with both, and it looks like they're going to continue that with the S24 series. And our last story has to do with the always-on displays on the Galaxy Z Flip 5. It looks like they're taking a page from the iPhone. The latest rumor coming out is that they will have a always-on display like the iPhone 14 Pro phones, where you get this. I actually really like their always-on displays. I actually kind of like it better than Android's, and it would be nice to see that on the Flip 5, which I assume they're going to use it on that smaller outside display, obviously, on there to make it a little bit more playful and fun. And I think looks like that's what they're going to do, at least from early rumors. Thanks for watching, guys. My question out to you guys of the day is, what would you like to see come from the iPhone over to Android? I don't mean like iMessage or FaceTime. I mean like a feature that is easily brought over. Let me know in the comments down below. Without further ado, let's jump on our Q&A. First question from Timothy, saying, if I'm going to have a phone for a few years, if I get the Fold 5 or Flip 5, my mom and brother are going to surprise me with a birthday gift where they surprise me. But if I get the Fold 5 and have it for a few years, which storage option would you recommend for someone keeping their phone for a few years? Also, I was going to get a watch. Should I get the Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro or wait for the Galaxy Watch 6 Pro? I have an excellent rest of your weekend, sir. So yeah, so if you're gonna get the Fold 5, I would say if you're gonna keep it for years and years, I think just to keep the monkey off your back, get a 512 gigabyte. I think that's plenty on there. And then for the watch, Watch 5 Pro is still really good. You're gonna get a lot of updates for years to come, good battery life. But I think if they both come out at the same time, I'd say why don't you grab the Watch 6 Pro, especially if you can get a good deal on it. Next question from Tater, saying they have a desk job and have only ever had one phone at a time. I'm wanting to try the Pixel Fold. I've had all the recent Pixel phones and all of them, and love all of them due to their cameras. Would you recommend a folding phone if you could? I have only one phone. Another question, I've never owned a tablet. Is having a folding phone equal to having a phone and a tablet? Can you have phone apps and tablet apps on the same device? I've seen some articles where people complain about only being able to get the tablet version of an app and lose some of the functionality. Is that a common thing? So in terms of your first question, if I could only have one phone, I would probably almost definitely make it a folding phone. One device really even, yeah, if I couldn't have a tablet, if I had to choose between a tablet and a phone, I would choose the folding phones, because yeah, you're right. They are kind of a good mix between the two. Don't get me wrong, it's still really hard to compete with a huge tablet versus a folding phone, because it's still a lot smaller. This phone, even though it's bigger than a regular phone, it's still a lot smaller than a tablet. But yeah, I think if you're only gonna have one device, the folding phones are really good to have as a one device, eliminating the need for a tablet and a phone. In terms of tablet apps, no, I don't really notice it too much. Maybe Viber, but I don't lose any functionality over it. But no, I haven't run into that issue where I'm like, oh, this is a tablet app, but it's on my phone and it's not working right. I don't notice any of that stuff in terms of, again, a phone app versus a tablet app and having an issue with it on this like that. And our last question from Goon Squad, are you planning on getting the Pixel Fold? Which color and storage are you getting? And do you think that the Pixel Fold will make you take your SIM out of your Fold 4 and not use it anymore? So I'm hoping that Google will just send it to me so I won't have to choose a storage. But if I had to, I would most likely choose the 256. My wife will definitely be getting it, so I'm not going to get two for free. The most I'll get is one for free from Google, but I would definitely get my wife probably the 256 for her, unless it's free to get 512, but otherwise I'll get her the 256. I think that's definitely the sweet spot, especially if you use cloud storage for most people. Oh, color black if it's obviously the 512, or white if it's the 256. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have a question, leave it in the comments down below. #question. We'll see you down the road. Peace.